Okay, so we're continuing right along. Now we're on the ground. We spent all that time starting to warm up the adductors, so now we're going to do a more traditional inner thigh stretch. So feet are pressed together, knees are spread apart. You can grasp your toes or your ankles, it all depends on what's more comfortable for you. Sitting fairly upright, fairly long spine. Once again, the pelvic floor is going towards the ground, or the hips going towards the ground, crown of the head's going towards the ceiling. And then I just want you to think about your knees going toward the ground. I like grabbing my feet, it's my preference. But you may feel that grabbing your ankles is more comfortable. Your knees might just flop to the ground, that's fine too. If that is the case, what you would do next, you probably would already know this if you're not flexible, is just lean forward. You can try to bring your chest towards your feet. I am not that flexible, so you won't see too much of that from me. Sorry guys. After that, you're going to cross your legs, sitting tall once again. I like grabbing the outsides of the feet just to get a little more stability. And then after trying to lower the knees down as far as they can go, I go pretty low here, I think, in my opinion. And then I'll try to bring my chest to my legs. Once again, you're going to lead with your chest, not with your head. So lead with your chest. And after, once again, about 10 seconds or so, you can go as long as 30 seconds, which is great. You'll switch legs. Do the same thing on the other side. Great. Then we're going to bring one leg over. And typically in yoga, people will come around and they'll do this great twist, which is fine. But what we're actually going to do is, I'm going to turn to the side to show you. I'm going to try to get this hip to touch the ground. I may or may not achieve that, but the idea is I'm going to turn away from the top leg, in this case my left leg, and twist to the right. And the idea is to try to get the hip to go toward the ground. Let me come back to the front so you can see the way I'm twisting. So I'm sitting upright and I'm twisting. And I'm trying to drop my hip toward the ground. And then I'll take this leg and put it on top, and I'm going to attempt and, well, almost get a lotus pose. So the goal here, and you may want to try this on a mat, a little more comfortable. I've just gotten used to stretching on hard ground. Is to try to get this knee to go towards the side of this foot while sitting tall. So I like to grab the feet, just a point of focus for me. You may feel fine to just put weight this way, that could work as well. Or just like so. Just have a moment where you really just try to relax the body. So you're not trying to force it, you're trying to relax into the stretch. Switch sides. So this side is much tighter for me, which is interesting. I think that even though I've had more damage to this hip, my left hip muscularly has gotten tighter over the years to compensate for that. But, Don't know. So, first thing we're doing is we're not crossing over the right leg. We're going to twist actually to our left while the right leg is over the left. And we're going to try to bring the right hip down to the floor or the mat if you're on a mat. And when you've gotten enough range of motion, as much as you think you're going to get for the day, we bring it around, you'll see that, like I said, I have a lot more restriction on this side. And hopefully you don't. But once again, the goals are the same. You're trying to relax and allow this knee to come down to that foot. And then we'll go to the next stretch. So we tried externally rotating our hips. Now we're going to work on internal rotation, which I do much better on this leg. So you're going to basically internally rotate it. My left leg in this case, my right leg is out in front of me. And this may be enough for a lot of people. In fact, your knee may be way up here. It may not be. It all depends on everybody's different. To add a little more oomph to the stretch, you're going to grab this foot and this one, and then you're going to try to lean forward. So if you're very flexible, your chest may look right there on the floor. That's not me. Not bad. Some people won't even be able to touch their feet. But you know, you are where you are. It's a journey. It's how we continue to evolve our fitness. Our fitness is always evolving from one stage to the next, as long as we continue to work on it. As always, leading with the chest, not with the head, elongating the spine as much as possible, relaxing the pelvic floor, which will allow for more freer hip movement. By the pelvic floor, by the way, I mean the PC muscles, but a lot of women will know as the muscles that they use when they do Kegels. Men have them too. And the idea is that if you're tensing up the muscles of the pelvic floor, then it's actually going to create tension all throughout your hips. And when you're stretching your hips, that's not particularly productive, so you want to relax that area. So since we've been sneakily stretching this hamstring while doing that stretch, we'll do some more of that. So keeping your spine as long as you can, keeping this knee extended. You can also grab it here if grabbing your foot is a bit too intense. You can grab it here. If grabbing your leg is too intense, you just grab your thigh. And if you're really able to, you would bring your head towards your knee. So I would have to cheat, so we're not going to do that. But if you're able to literally bring your head to your knee while maintaining a fairly erect spine, that's great. And if not, but you're still getting a good stretch, that's great too. That's all that matters. It's that you get a stretch. Not that you show it at your gymnast level or Alvin Ailey dance level. Your level is your level, as long as you get a stretch. Switch sides. So I'm more restricted on this side. So I'm just going to do my best to try to keep my spine as long as I can. And my goal is to try to bring my hip here toward